Hey, Battle Bill here with another video, getting some more Season 11 Go Battle League battles in the Great League Remix meta. In today's video, we're featuring a Pokemon you may or may not have seen a lot of this past weekend if you participated in Niantic's Go Fest. And if you did not, the only other way you would have had access to this mon is maybe a previous Go Fest, could be wrong about that, or if you live in the region of the India area of the world. So I decided, because of potential lack of access to this mon, of course you could also trade for it, but because of lack of access to this potential mon, I thought, you know what, why not test it in some Go Battle League battles to see if it may or may not have some legit play in the meta. And now, right off the bat, the one regional that you definitely want to get a hold of was Tropius, and that's always the featured PvP regional mon, but we've seen that one in metas before. Tropius has been a sought after mon for a while, so I decided to get a little spicy with it, even after saying the past 3 videos we weren't going to get spicy, but I tried to build a balanced comp around it. We got the attack heavy mon of Shadow Machamp, the bulky mon of Mandibuzz, and then we have Torkoal, where I believe it belongs in the closing position on this team comp. I believe that because it has access to the fast move of Fire Spin, with charge moves of Overheat and Earthquake, and those things are going to be hitting like a truck. And as we'll find out in these matches, I did 10 of them, and I had quite a bit of success, is that Torkoal is also a bit bulky. So without further ado, let's jump right into these battles. And as always, please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Like I said, I'm going to be doing my best to feature mostly metamons, but also throw in a little dabble of something unique that you may not see a bunch of in Go Battle League for obvious reasons, like today's being a regional. Getting to this first match, we have a positive lead of Machamp on Registeel, and our opponent swaps into a Alolan Executor. Because we're kind of flabbergasted by the fact that this mon even came in, we kind of stutter on the swap, throw the cross chop, and then swap into what should be our hard counter, being a flyer Mandibuzz. Our opponent builds up to a charge move. We're hoping they're going for a bait. Don't exactly know why they'd be baiting here. It felt like they should have had enough energy to get to an Draco Meteor in that moment. And a Draco Meteor in Great League probably would have taken Mandibuzz's remaining health, considering with Shadow Alolan Executor. But thankfully it was not. It was a Seed Bomb. Mandibuzz survives. And they come back in with a Registeel. And we're sitting in a pretty positive spot here. Mostly because we have shield advantage and we kept switch. Which means Machamp is going to line up with this. Or we can line up Torkoal with it, because one of Torkoal's very positive matchups in this meta is going to be up against a Steel-type Registeel for obvious reasons based on its typing. So then we bring Machamp in to keep alignment, and then we made the smart choice of not revealing our Torkoal, because they immediately swap into their Golbat, which would have countered our Machamp, and if we would have came in with Torkoal right away, they may have saved Golbat in the back for our Machamp. So we swap to line up our Torkoal with their Shadow Golbat, and our play here is to do our best to build up to 2 overheats before we get Wing Attack down. You'll notice I shielded the first move, which you typically don't want to do when you know a Golbat's throwing Poison Fangs, but I've been slacking on counting because these battles are coming from the stream and it's very hard to manage both. So I was worried that was going to be a Shadow Ball, and if the Shadow Ball would have landed, Machamp would not have been in a good spot with its current amount of health in that Golbat matchup, which is why you'll see I shielded that first one. Thankfully, we win out that matchup with Torkoal and Golbat, and we're able to line up our Machamp on the Registeel, and we keep everything exactly how it should have been lined up in this match and pull the dub. Respect to our opponent for running that double Shadow Spice line while we're trying to put in work with Golbat. Getting to this next matchup, we don't have a positive lead, and Victini kind of core breaks. Torkoal doesn't have great play here because even though it has access to Earthquake and we really want this to land, it takes forever to generate it. So as they call our Earthquake buff or a bait, they build up a bunch of energy. They then swap into Machamp after getting 1 shield, and Torkoal is able to get to an overheat in time, and they decide not to shield. It lands, but unfortunately this Victini has a ton of energy, so thankfully we flip switch. The smartest play is to put Victini on to our Mandibuzz. We are worried about V-Create. V-Create lowers the opponent's defense severely, but it hits like a truck. So because it's only lowering their defense and they have so much energy, they can keep on just spamming these off essentially, and they're all going to do about the same damage. Thankfully, Mandibuzz being tanky, even after we give both shields to it, the damage is not all that much. They then swap into a Noctowl. I've seen a couple Pidgeots since Remix meta, so when you see normal flying, you never know which one it could possibly be. But more often than not, it's been Noctowl, and I've featured Noctowl, and it's a great mon for Great League Remix battles. They come in here, and we kind of need to rely on Mandibuzz to an extent. We wanted to drain their energy so that Machamp could come in, hope that they didn't overfarm enough, and they did not, which allowed us to counter them all the way down. Huge play because they were forced to throw energy against our Mandibuzz if they wanted to have any winning scenario in this matchup. So we were able to farm them down. We're popping off 2 cross chops, and Machamp is a fire psychic type, counter confirmed. I apologize for my voice. It sounds extra raspier than usual. Long story short, I've explained this in the first video. My voice is probably going to sound like this for a bit until I give it legitimate rest. But between teaching with masks on because of COVID and still streaming every day, it took quite a toll on my voice, and I have not given it the proper rest because I can't take off work until summertime really, and I don't really want to take off streaming or putting out content, and health-wise it probably makes the most sense, so I may have to come to terms with that decision soon enough. But for right now, I apologize if this is painful to listen to, but I will do my best to not sound as raspy as possible. That helps everything. Copium. Anyhow, get into this next matchup. We saw us throw the Rock Slide at the Arachnid after they safe swapped into it. We then bring in what should be a harder counter, Mandibuzz. But what I'm noticing, which is fascinating, is a lot of these Arachnids in this meta are running Infestation, so they could spam Bug Buzzes, I'm assuming specifically for this matchup. Typically, Bug Bite is the preferred fast move because of the amount of energy that it generates, but Bug Buzz hits like a truck. So being able to spit these out because Arachnid is so thick and Infestation is generating energy so fast, seems to have some pros in certain matchups, specifically like this one. I feel like Bug Bite would not have gotten the amount, well, definitely would not have gotten the amount of charge moves off, and in total wouldn't have done as much damage as the amount of damage that Arachnid was able to do here. Luckily, we're able to farm it down, leave with a move, and then they come in with the Shadow Alolan Marowak. I respect it. Solid Mon, especially in this meta. It has legitimate open Great League PvP play, but we get off the Dark Pulse to get their shield. We then bring in Torkoal. The main reason why we bring in Torkoal is because they have no shield here, and this is the closing scenario I'm referring to with Torkoal. We overfarm a bit because we don't want to play in the CMP in case we lost, Torkoal being a bit bulky. We end up not really getting much farm afterwards anyway. We were also worried about potential swap, and we land that EQ. Boom! Torkoal countering other fires confirmed with the huge ground move. It's very nice that it has that diversity in charge moves set up so that it can at least counter opposing fire types in that way. Getting into this next matchup, we have Shadow Machamp on Ninetales. We're going to play this one out. Because there's the Shadow Ninetales, we should be able to win this if we just go straight cross shot. All the counter damage is adding up. They're getting to another charge move here. We've played out the one shield. We overfarmed a little bit. We got like one counter over. Getting off another cross shot, hoping to either take them out or get their last shield. Ideally, we want to get their shield and allow them to win lead, because then it could set up Torkoal for a potential content closing situation. So now we come in with the Torkoal with the one shield advantage, fully expecting them to get to a move here, but it's all fire damage, so Torkoal's not worried. It resists. That does nothing. We get a huge fire spin down with a bunch of energy. Unfortunately, they have a very hard counter to Torkoal, counter to Torkoal in Whiscash, so we land the EQ anyway, and then we swap into Mandibuzz. They match that with Vigoroth, and we're trying to outspam with Snarl and Dark Pulse. Now, Dark Pulse I prefer a lot these days, whether it be in Great League Remix, or even in Open Great League, or even in Ultra, because it's better DPE, and when you're running Snarl, yes, it's a little bit more energy than Foul Play, but the extra damage is worth it, and these moves are popping off regardless because Snarl is so good at generating energy. At this point, we're either going to allow them to take out our Mandibuzz, or we're going to commit to a Snarl down. We have no intentions of using our shield here. We're able to Snarl down. We're going to get off the Dark Pulse on their Whiscash. They should not take out the remaining health, but I think we stay in because they recognize even if they Mud Bomb, that's not going to take out Mandibuzz. They need the Blizzard, and Mandibuzz barely has any health, so it's really not even worth playing out. Get a beautiful GG in that match. In this next one, we have a very positive lead. They save swap into Pelipper. We match that with Mandibuzz. We're then going to throw Dark Pulses. We're going to be spamming them. We're going to hope to outpace Dark Pulse again, hitting like a truck. 2 Dark Pulses here are going to get the job done. We're not worried about anything Pelipper throws because Mandibuzz is just so thick. Look at how little those Weather Balls do. We do go for the Dark Pulse here. I think I was considering going Aerial Ace just based on the pure fact that the Snarls took its health so low, and now that they decided to shield and protect their Pelipper in what's not a positive matchup because we can take another one And we can tank another one, but I think we decide to match shields here just on the off chance of getting fast moved down. We know we can go air release at this point because of Pelipper's remaining health. So we're going to try our best to spam these, see if they decide to shield. They decide not to. We end up keeping alignment, which is huge here. And Mandibus has a good chunk of health left so that it can spam off a couple more Dark Pulses or at least charge moves to do about 40% of Vigoroth's health. They're going to commit to a counter down. But thankfully, our Machamp is full health, so we're going to bring it in. We could let it tank a move. We could potentially commit to it too. We may shield just to counter it down completely, or we might let one come through, still commit to the counter down, and then fully expect them to get to another one. But then they decide to swap into Whiscash. And here's where I make a crucial mistake. I remember this match because, of course, it came from stream. We're throwing back-to-back cross chops here, and I was genuinely hoping that Machamp had enough health. But the problem is it's the Shadow in Great League, and we allow ourselves to get mud shot down. We should have swapped out immediately into Torkoal. This allowed their Whiscash to get some extra mud shots, which are going to prove crucial in their win in this matchup. They're spamming off 2 mud shots here. We're shielding this one. They're going to get to another one. We're really just hoping for the fire spin down. We also know that the Vigoroth overfarmed before, so we're worried about that having a body slam in the back, and that's exactly what it had. Now, if we swap faster, potentially we fire a spin down before the Whiscash gets to that last Mud Bomb, and then we survive the body slam from Vigoroth and get off the move, farm down Whiscash, overheat Vigoroth. Might have been tight, might not have been likely, but it could have been possible. Either way, big misplay, and was very unfortunate for that match. Getting the next one, they switch out immediately. They bring in Ninetales with their cross shot to make them feel like that we don't have a good counter, so we got their shield on the cheap move. Still would have hurt though, because Shadow on Shadow. We swap in the Mandibuzz, knowing can eat some moves, whether it be an overheat or a couple weather balls. We're letting them both come through. We're at a Dark Pulse. We're going to see if they decide to commit to their Ninetales. Because they had thrown back-to-back moves, we knew we could overfarm a little bit before they get to another one. Dark Pulse almost takes out. We're hoping for the Snarl down. We're a little worried that this Weather Ball will do enough damage, but we decide to take the chance because Mandibuzz is thick. Snarl came through. We have shield advantage, and we kept switch. Unfortunately, I assume they bring in their lead mon, so I go for the Aerial Ace when Dark Pulse would have hit much better against this Psychic Normal type Oranguru, but we still have shield advantage, so this is not the worst case scenario. We're gonna bring in the little Tortoise. It's so funny because of Fire Spin's like lack of energy generation and just how Torkoal moves. It just feels like it's moving like a legitimate Tortoise. It's generating energy like a Tortoise. Its animation is obviously Tortoise-like. Makes sense, goddamn Torkoal. But we then swap into Machamp to finish off the Zweilous that they had in the back, and they come back in with the Oranguru to farm us down. But again, Turtle, Tortoise, Big Shell, Thick Mon, eats the move, no problem. A little bit worried about Confusion sneaking through. Again, trying to play into the situation where we build the 2 overheats in time. Fire Spin really, again, isn't the worst energy generating move in the world, but Overheat and Earthquake are just so big of charge moves that it feels like forever. We do get off both moves, and Torkoal clutches against the Orangutan. Tortoise on Orangutan action. Getting to this next matchup, we got a terrible lead, but technically our team is ABB counter-wise to Bronzong, with Mandibuzz and Torkoal countering in the back. So we save swap our own Mandibuzz here. They come in with Greedent. We're really feeling like we can flip switch here because we resist all the fast move damage. They have to spam body slams here, and as you can see, they're not doing much. We're spamming Dark Pulses in return, which are slowly starting to chunk up. So even though we had a negative lead, it's looking like we could potentially play this into a positive situation based on this alignment. We're not going to commit a single shield in the Greedent Mandibuzz matchup. They can spam as many as they want. We're even going to look to overfarm just on the off chance, you know, they're double weak to Mandibuzz and its energy can pay dividends. We also got the Greedent low enough where we're going to Aerial Ace it again to save energy. This next body slam coming through was a little unfortunate just because like now we're low health and it might be a little difficult to get to the next move. Even if we do already have it banked. They come with Mandibuzz. We didn't really expect them to bring in the Bronzong there, unless they were legitimately weak to it. They were not, but they have Air Slash Mandy. Machamp literally has nowhere to go here, so I gotta bring in Machamp against this Mandibuzz and pray that Torkoal can pop off. The problem is Torkoal's biggest weakness is the 2-shield scenario, for the obvious reasons of getting off charge moves is not an easy task for it. If you can play out the 1 shields, you can play out the 0 shields, which is why Torkoal performs best in that closing situation. Typically, both shields still aren't around at this point in a match. then it can pop off by double overheating like we saw in the last match. Problem is here, because I have 2 shields, I'm not getting the 3 charge moves. Even when I farm the bronze on completely down with our fire spins, we're only at essentially 2 overheats. And we're building up more energy to try to get out our switch timer so that we can swap out and clear our debuff. But unfortunately, because it's air slash, whether we cleared the debuff or not, we're just going to die to fast moves and we are going to lose this match. But I gotta say, I did like Torkoal's play. Would I say it's the most viable fire type in the world? No. If you want to get a little bit of spice play, it's a bit unique compared to other fire types that you're going to find in the Great League Remix meta. And then also, in case you really wanted to get crazy, if you got a hundo during Go Fest, if you get the XLs, level 50, level 51, max is like just a bit under 2,500. It's like in the 2,350s. I guess I consider that a bit, but it's like in the 2,350, 2,400 range, essentially. It's close enough for content, is what I'm saying. And like I said, it has its diverse play in the fact that it's bulky, it moves super slow, literally like a tortoise. I don't like that it has fire spin as a fast move and then all it has is big charge moves. So hopefully in the future it could be given a spam move. Who knows, maybe give it weather ball over overheat, maybe give it a better fast move, incinerate, or maybe just buff fire spin just so it can generate energy a little bit more efficiently. But either way, I feel like with a slight move improvement or move adjustment, Torkoal could have future play. It's a very bulky tortoise, as you can see here. It's just taking forever to get to any moves. So moveset's unideal. Torkoal as a mon itself, though, potential future mon. So hopefully you picked up some decent IV Torkoals during your Go Fest hunt. If not, there's technically still like the other 3 Go Fests in Seattle, Berlin, and I'm blanking on the 3rd one. Somebody tell me in the comment section. Anyhow, let me know your thoughts on this team. One other not slight issue, kind of big issue, but in Great League Remix, unless somebody's trying to be super duper toxic, you don't see too much of it. This team is ABA weak to Charm. Torkoal being the only real answer to it being the fire type. But we're not running that in the lead because, again, we want Torkoal to be the closing mon. It does not play well in that 2-shield scenario. So, getting to this next match, we lose lead with Machamp on Dragalge. We got a safe swap in the Mandibuzz. Also, in case it wasn't obvious if Torkoal is going to be the closer, Mandibuzz has to be the obvious safe swap mon. They decide to stay in, and with the amount of energy they built up and the fact they're committing so hard in this scenario, not only tells me that they're weak to Mandibuzz in the back, but that they were going to go for Outrage, so we shielded it. We get off another Dark Pulse, so they're really committing here. So I'm thoroughly believing that they're going to throw another Outrage once they get up to it. So we go Dark Pulse, they shield again. So we need to commit to our Mandibuzz. Huge sneak of the Snarl there. We let this come through, though, because we had such low health. We had a bit of a feeling that they might go for the smaller move, which is what they did, but they built up enough energy for an Outrage. They threw the Aqua Tail. They should have another Aqua Tail now in the back. Now they've dipped. We have to bring Machamp in here, even though it's going to take super effective from the flying damage. Torkoal is going to have a harder time doing damage and getting off a move against Pelipper, whereas Machamp builds it up pretty fast, and of course Torkoal is going to take super effective from any water damage from Pelipper. There's the Aqua Tail that I referred to, but I did say they built up to the Outrage. That was true. We did survive that Aqua Tail, which I was quite surprised about. Shadow Machamp, Great League, kind of bulky, not really. Get off the cross shot, take out the Dragalge, and then they have Hypno. And I decide to go for a few swag points here because in this Zero Shield, I know Torkoal is going to win. So we pull the goaded swap after, 4 confusions they threw right on the dot. Catch the Shadow Ball on our Dark type. This match is over. It was over even if they landed the Shadow Ball again. Torkoal is a thick tortoise. Overheat, boom, take him out, get the dub. You'll love to see it. Further proving my point. It's a very good closing mon. Getting to this next matchup, we win lead with Machamp on Diggersby. They safe swap Arachnid. Again, another infestation Arachnid. And as you'll notice, they're spamming out Bug Buzzes. And the other positive about this is that Bug Buzz has a chance to debuff your defense. So if they're spamming them out and the first one debuffs, then the next one will most likely take out whatever your mon's remaining health is. Whereas again, with Bug Bite, the problem is that by the time you get the one Bug Buzz, you're not getting to another one. And I feel like because on PV Poke, the debuff doesn't really get considered. I don't know exactly how it works, but I don't think debuffs are typically considered in the way ratings are given for matchups. Bug Bite performs better than Infestation does, specifically in Open Great League. Oh, also this opponent just completely top lefted, so we'll continue going on my rant as we take out this opponent because they realized we're not going to keep Switch. I strongly believe they just swiped out of their app. You can tell because there was no lag leading up to this matchup whatsoever, and then all of a sudden they just stopped and they were done attacking. Anyhow, could have been a crash. I highly doubt it. They knew their situation was poor. I'm sure they just got mad and were like, you know what, I want to be done with this match. And people just don't like the top left. Anyhow, we were winning this regardless. Their last one was Frostlass. Torkoal was going to slaughter them. Back to what I was saying. I don't necessarily think in the individual matchups when PvP Pokemon against ratings, it considers the chance of debuff. So again, Bug Bite sims better than Infestation, but Infestation does have the hidden potential of spamming Bug Buzzes that would allow it to then debuff opponents and put the Arachnid in a better spot because of the energy generation. Do I wish both of those fast moves were better one way or another? Maybe Bug Bite could generate energy more, or Infestation could generate energy better or deal a little bit more damage to give Arachnid even more play. But Arachnid's a pretty underrated mod for Open Great League, but that is not the focus of today's video. That could be a focus for another day's video. Today's focus was Torkoal. Please let me know your thoughts. Tell me about your Go Fest. Did you get the shinies you were looking for? Any PvP IVs you were after? Torkoal I wasn't intentionally after PvP IV wise because all mine were weather boosted, similar to my Tropius, unfortunately. But please tell me about the battles. Give me your thoughts. I hope your Go Fest went well. I hope you're able to get everything you were looking forward to. And if you did not, and you're going to participate in one of those future Go Fests I mentioned, please tell me more about it in the comment section below. Thank you so much for watching. I genuinely appreciate it, especially as I try to get back on this YouTube grind. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. It helps the channel a lot. And I will see you all in the next video. Preach. That sounded bad. Preach.